Hi everyone, very good evening. I hope my voice is audible. Let me just enable chat for all of you. Yeah, you should be able to use the chat. Very good evening, everyone. I hope my voice is audible. You can give me a quick yes or no. Okay, great. I see some repeat audience. Very good evening, Mr. Manny. Good evening, Mr. Nagaraj. All right. Okay. So we will get started shortly. I think those of you who have attended our webinars will know that we will start off in some time. Okay. A few others who had joined us. Very good evening. I hope I am audible. I see a bunch of them here. Um, some repeat attendees, of course. Mr. Kamal, very good evening. I think I already mentioned Mr. Manny also, yes. And Indranil. Okay, all right. Very good evening. So, audience, while we wait for a few others to join, as I mentioned, we'll start in about 2 or 3 minutes. I think in the meantime, I just wanted to quickly check with all of you on how familiar or is this topic something that you've heard of before? Because this is actually an entirely new topic that we from WebSol are covering with our in-house speaker, uh, Mr. Akela. It is definitely a new topic for me as well. And I just want to know how many of you have already heard of this topic or at least somewhat familiar. Like, okay, I've come across this term that is authorized economic operator. So I would just request all of you to use the chat and let us know. So Mr. Ravindra already mentioned saying it is new for him. Very good evening, Mr. Ravindra. Okay, new. Okay, okay. Looks like it's new for a bunch of them here already. Mr. Indranil, Mr. Venkatesh, Mr. Mani, and Mr. Dheeraj. Okay, interesting. Okay, okay. Now this is a rather interesting one. Mr. Vishal has already mentioned that they are already having authorized economic operator tier 2 since for the last 2 years. Now, this will actually be a very interesting take. Okay, great. Anyone else? All right. Looks like we don't have any responses yet. Okay, great. So, audience, I think since it's new for a bunch of them here, okay, so Rahul has also mentioned that it is new. All right. So, I just wanted to know that if you're expecting anything from the session, we are obviously going to get into the presentation shortly. I'd also like to mention that this forum is obviously open to a lot of queries. We would like the session to be very engaging. So as we go forward, you can use the Q&A, you can use the chat to drop your queries, and our speaker Akela will definitely attend to those questions towards the end of the session. Okay, so I think we can get started. Let's not further await. I think there's a few more audience who will be joining as the session goes. So let's get going. All right. So very good evening. Once again, I'm Siddharth. I handle product marketing at WebSolve, and I will also be your moderator for the day. So, as I already mentioned, I'm sure all of you are aware of the topic in discussion today. We have authorized economic operator. A comprehensive guide is something that we're going to talk about today, and there's a whole lot of agenda which I'll hand it over to Akela sir as the session goes forward. He'll be able to explain them. So let's go forward. So before we get into the topic itself, I'd like to run you through a quick few slides of about the company that I represent and what we have in portfolio. What is it that we do? So as you can see, this is a quick timeline of WebSol as we are known today. So back in the years, that is 1988, we were in fact part of Wipro's IT business. So we were the printer peripherals manufacturing division of the company. When I mean peripherals, your printer peripherals in terms of toners, cartridges, and other core components that enable the functioning of a printer is something that this division of Wipro was manufacturing. So we were specialists in this from then, and over the years, I think what's happened is the company decided to come out of Wipro as a separate entity, and they were known by the name of Wipro e-Peripherals for a very long time. So that Wipro e-Peripherals further shortened or abbreviated into Web Solutions, and that name got on to be known for the next decade. That is, as you can see, in 2017, the company decided to add a digital workplace services suite, which has a bunch of solutions, which I'll explain as we go forward. And I would like to mention that in the most recent years, that is last year, we underwent a complete brand refresh. We are known by the name WebSol, as you can see today, and we have a complete refreshed, updated line of offerings, which I will explain to you in the next few slides. Okay, as you can see, these are some quick highlights about the company. We come with over 24 years of industry expertise. We have close to 563 enterprise customers, and we are present in over 2,500 locations across India. We have also deployed close to 2 lakh devices. When I mean devices, I mean printers. And a quick view of some of our core clients, as you can see on the slide. Okay, so moving forward, now this is our portfolio, that is our product or service portfolio, which is known under the name of FluidWorks. Now, what is this FluidWorks is something that I'll explain in the upcoming slides. So FluidWorks is our workplace suite of services. Under this, we have a bunch of other offerings, which will basically address your different departments, your core IT necessities, and your printing infrastructure, IT infrastructure, all of this is taken care with our FluidWorks portfolio. Now, under FluidWorks, you might ask me, what is this FluidWorks? What is this concept? So, as you can see, the name fluid. What does fluid mean? It's like water, right? So, something that takes shape, something that flows. So, that is where our concept is derived from. Now, what this FluidWorks essentially means is our solutions, our services will cater to each and every organization and each and every user's specific requirement. So we'll be able to customize, tailor make any kind of process automation based on your requirement. That can be a simple workflow automation. It can be your IT infrastructure or your print infrastructure. All of this can be taken care with our FluidWorks workplace suite. So let me move forward and I'll explain what exactly these things are. So as I mentioned, FluidWorks, under that we have a bunch of offerings. Now, what is Fluid Pro? This is our managed IT services suite. Now, under this, we'll basically take care of your IT infrastructure, which will host servers, your server racks, your entire IT infrastructure to handle all your IT requirements. So various IT assets like your Wi-Fi access points, PCs, desktops, All of this is something that we take care, and we also have a 24/7 knock support, which will take care of your IT requirements. So that is on the end. What is Fluid Print? This is our managed print services offering. So what we essentially do is we will deploy printers based on your requirement on a rental basis, and you will be charged only for the pay per print basis. Based on how many papers you print on a periodic, like monthly or quarterly, we will charge you on that. We are also number one in India on this end. Now, what is fluid map? Now, assume that printers have been deployed, and other IT hardware has been deployed, right? How do you manage this? How do you remotely manage this? How do you monitor uh, what is the downtime, or what is the uptime of each of these devices, and what is the toner or cartridge level of my printers in different locations? This is taken care by the solution Fluid Map. So this is basically an IT asset management tool that is deployed in your network, and you will be given admin access through which you can monitor all of the devices that are connected in your network. Now, this can be cross location as well. So it's not just within your location. You can get this extended beyond your location. If you're put up in different parts of the country, this is something that we'll take care of. And what is Fluid Trail? This is our state-of-the-art process automation solution with which we can automate different department processes, like for HR, employee records management, any approvals, the email approvals, your procurement, and it works as a simple cloud document management service. So this is Fluid Trail. And lastly, I would like to explain what is flow tax. Now, this is something all of you can relate to. In fact, those of you who have been attending our webinars will know already. So FlowTax is our all-in-one, one-stop GST solution, which takes care of everything, anything GST, right? From filing, reconciliation, your e-invoice generation, e-invoice automation, e-way bills, all of this is taken care by our FlowTax solution. We also offer ERP integration or any other sort of API integrations through this platform. We also have an expert team that sits in Bangalore, which will take care of your support and any sort of queries that you have during the day. This is something that our team takes care of. And lastly, we have products end as well. We are present on the retail side of things as well. I will not explain that, but we have billing printers like your POS machines in Kirana store supermarkets. This is something that we are present in. So let's move forward. Now, a quick poll for all of you. We will not be doing any demo as such during the presentation. So let me launch a poll quickly for all of you. Now, as I mentioned, we have a solution for filing reconciliation, e-way bill, and e-invoicing. I'd like to know if you'd be interested in a free demo of a FlowTax, our GSC solution. Based on your requirement, based on your availability, we'll be able to schedule a demo. So I'll leave this poll on for the next 1 minute. Please note that based on what you enter here, our team will reach out to you, and we will arrange a free demo based on your availability anytime in the next few working days. Okay, thank you all for your inputs. Let me end the poll. Okay, so without any further ado, let's introduce our speaker for the day, Mr. Akela A.S. Prakasha Rao. A quick introduction about him. Mr. Akela is an independent indirect tax advocate. He graduated in 1989 from BITS Pilani in electrical and electronics engineering. He is also a gold medal holder who completed LLB from Andhra University in the year 2001. He's worked in the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, that is CBIC, from the years 1994 to 2008. He's also worked for BSR & Co., also commonly known as KPMG, Bangalore from the years 2008 to 13. His other major stints were with Toyota Kirloskar Motor Bidadi from 2013 to 2016, and lastly Biocon from the years 2016 to June 2021. Mr. Akela is also a member of indirect tax committees of various trade bodies, to name a few like BCCI, CII, FICCI, and so on. He's also an active article writer in various tax forums such as TIOL, Tax Sutra, and addresses various tax issues. Now, aside doing regular webinars with us, that is WebSol, he is also a speaker and panelist on various forums on indirect tax matters. Mr. Akela comes with more than 28 years of experience in the field of indirect taxes with exposure in government, consultancy, and industries, to name a few like auto and pharma. He comes with hands-on experience in GST, customs, FTP, SEC, central and state excise, service tax, VAT, and various other factors. He's currently practicing as indirect tax advocate, assisting clients on all aspects of indirect taxes at all levels. Audience, if you have any sort of tax queries, if you need any assistance in terms of an advocate basis, I would straight away tell you that Mr. Akela is the man to go to. So please feel free to reach out to him. We will enter his details in the post-webinar mailer. You'll be able to reach out to him. I take great pleasure in introducing him on the nth webinar. In fact, I've lost count with the number of webinars we've been doing with Mr. Akela. I'm sure the audience is looking forward to directly hearing from you, sir. Since it's a new topic, we will have a lot of discussion, I believe. So I anticipate that. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Siddharth, for those nice introduction. And thank you for all the people who have joined us on this very important topic of authorized economic operator. This is something new that we normally be doing the GST sessions only on various topics of the GST. But why at all that we have chosen today that authorized economic operator is also something that we need to discuss, that as you go through the whole thing, that you will understand, and its relevance to the GST also will be known during the course of the presentation for you. And those who have any questions on this, that there is a Q&A box. So I request that you please pose all your queries, not only on this topic, on any topic of the indirect taxes. I'll be happy to address it after the session. So today the session is going to be arranged in this way, that I am going to touch upon what is this AEO scheme in India, what are the objectives for it, and what are the benefits and who are eligible for it. And then there are some three tiers in this AEO certification process: the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And there is something called MRAs. So what is the benefit of those MRAs? And then what are the compliances that we need to observe for being in AEO? And what are the other points that we need to keep it in mind, and some of the relevant instructions, differences that I will give. And then I will be taking up the Q&A. Next slide, please. Yeah. We are coming to this authorized economic operator. So an EEO is a business entity involved in international movement of goods requiring compliance with provisions of the national customs law and is approved by or on behalf of national administration in compliance with World Customs Organization or equivalent supply chain security standards. The security standards are detailed in the World Customs Organization Safe Framework of Standards, which is the basis for the Indian AEO program. So this Indian AEO program has been conceived on the lines of the World Customs Organization's safe framework of standards. So this is an international standard. So if you are going to be certified under this program, then that means that the way that you maintain your documents is on par with any other international organization. So the AEO program enables the customs administration to identify the safe and compliant business entity in order to provide them a higher degree of assured facilitation. This segmentation approach enables the customs resources to focus on less or non-compliant or risky businesses for control. Thus, the aim of AEO program is to secure the international supply chain by granting recognition to reliable operators and encouraging best practices at all levels in the international supply chain. Though this program, the customs shares its responsibility with the businesses, while at the same time rewarding them with a number of additional benefits. This is an important observation under the AEO, wherein the customs is sharing their responsibility with the business. That means to say, whatever is the checkpoints are there, what are the important parameters that one needs to have in an international trade. All that is the duty of the customs to ensure that all of them are in place. But once you are certified under this program, then the customs will not check all those details to the minutest level. They trust you. So they are sharing that responsibility with the businesses. And because that you have taken this coveted recognition, then they are going to reward you with some of the facilities, the facilitations that we will be touching upon. So while in the presentation. So next slide, please.
Yeah. So, if you don't mind, I think I'd already asked how many of them are familiar or do not know about authorized economic operator. I just
Yes.
want to launch a quick poll before we get
Yeah,
going forward.
you can please.
Yeah. So, audience, I hope you're able to see this on your screen. Now, I'd like to see maximum participation on this poll. So, have you heard of the term AEO scheme and what is your level of familiarity? Now, this will give us an idea so that we can change our tone of approach, and Mr. Akela will be able to explain even better. So I'll leave this poll on for the next 1 minute. Okay. So obviously, a majority do not know what this is. While there's a few of them who do know some things, I think even Mr. Vishal or someone had mentioned that they're
Yeah, they
actually
are tier
using
2.
tier two. Yeah, yeah. Okay, interesting. All right. Let me end the poll. Not bad. The responses are good. So let me share the results for all of them. So as you can see, a major chunk of our audience obviously do not know what uh, AEO is. So it's an entirely new topic. Oh yeah. So I'll go forward, sir.
Yeah,
You
please.
can get going.
So there was an earlier accreditation known as Accredited Client Program, which is a completely an Indian concept. It has got nothing to do with the World Customs Organization, safe network, all that and all. So they have introduced this AAO, and then they realized that there is no point in having two different programs. One, the Accredited Client Program (ACP), and then AAO also. Hence, they merged both of them via this Circular 33 of 2016. So under this new AEO program, the importer exporter are being issued a certificate based on the three-tier certification. As I told you, AEO Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. However, the economic operators other than the importer and exporter are given only one tier certification, that is AEO LO. So the AEO LO is meant for the customs brokers, logistics service providers, warehouse operators, custodians, or terminal operators. So this AUA program is essentially for those who are into international trade. So those organizations which are into the exports and imports, this AUO is going to be relevant. Otherwise, it doesn't make much of a sense. But definitely for those who are into the exports, this AUO is something which they need to have some kind of an understanding, and then they should go for this certification. It is a voluntary compliance program. That is the reason that it has got did not have much of a reach. That not many people, though they are into exports and imports, but may not be aware that there is something called this AAO, because it is a voluntary compliance program. So the program uses a trust but verify approach with the trade community. To apply to the program, a prospective AEO certificate holder submits basic company information and a security profile as the annexer in the circular. The AEO team checks on the company in its general complaints, legal complaints, management of commercial and transport records, financial solvency, safety, and evaluates the safety and security with respect to the procedural security, premises security, cargo security, conveyance security, personal security, business partner security, IT security, security training, and threat awareness. This AEO team conducts on-site visit to the domestic facilities to confirm the security practices are in place and operational in case of the higher certification levels, and the efficient and compliant businesses are certified into the program. So anybody who is filing the bill of entries or shipping bills are eligible for this program. So once I touch upon the eligibility criteria and all, the finer details also will be discussed with you. So basically the point that what we need to see is This is a very comprehensive certification which is evaluating on several of these parameters like your general compliances, legal compliances, and your management records, commercial records, transportation records, your financial solvency, and all kinds of securities and safeties like premises, cargo, conveyance, personal, business partner security, IT security, etc. So once you have reached a particular standard in all aspects of these things, then this certification is going to be given. So it is a fantastic way in which that you can showcase it, saying that you are a AEO certified person. That means to say, on all these aspects, you have attained certain standard which is recognized globally, just not in India, but it's globally. Right? The next slide, please. Yeah. So what are the objectives with which the AEO program has been conceived in India? To provide the business entities with an internationally recognized certification, to recognize the business entities as secure and reliable trading partners, to incentivize the business entities through defined benefits that translate into savings in time and cost, secure the supply chain from the point of export to import, ability to demonstrate compliances with security standards when contracting to supply overseas importers and exporters, enhanced border clearance privileges in mutual recognition agreement partner countries, minimal security related disruptions to flow of cargo, reduction in dwell time and related costs, and customs advice and assistance if trade faces unexpected issues with the customs of countries with which India has MRAs. MRA is a mutual recognition agreement. I will be touching upon in one of the slides later in the presentation. So, with these objectives in mind, the AEO program in India has been conceived and it is being advertised vigorously by the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. Next slide, please. So what are the benefits that one will be getting if he is an AEO? So recognition worldwide as safe, secure, and compliant business partners in international trade, and get trade facilitation by foreign customs administration with whom India enters into an MRA. So, and the facility of direct port delivery of their import containers or direct port entry of their export containers. Waiver of full or part of the bank guarantee requirement, waiver of merchant overtime fee, deferred payment of duties, waiver from transactional PCA post clearance audit. Instead, on-site PCA has been provided. The selection of the same shall be based on the risk assessment of the AEOs. These are the major benefits that one can get. So, what is the advantage of it? See, there are many occasions wherein that you will have an issue with the department regarding a particular transaction. Either it can be an import or it can be an export. In all such cases, the department insists that you need to execute a bond. Sometimes it is a simple bond for certain amount. Sometimes it is 3 times of the duty, triple duty bond it is called. So in all such cases, this getting a bank guarantee and the bonds is not a simple thing. And when beyond the customs hours, of course, that this is not such a prevalent thing nowadays because that all the customs ports are mostly working 24/7. But nevertheless, once upon a time, this is also a big expenditure ticket for those who are predominantly into exports and imports. That the merchant overtime fee used to be charged by the customs for deploying their staff to attend to your import export formalities beyond office hours. So beyond office hours, when the officers come visit your premises, check the export cargo, clear it and all that, they use to charge this MOT. So the MOT fee and all are running into thousands of rupees for each exporters. So now under the AEO program, you will get the waiver of the MOT fee also. And there is a partial or a full waiver for the bank guarantees that you need to issue depending on your certification level. So these are the several of these benefits that you are going to have when you are a AEO operator. Next slide, please. Yeah, there is a waiver for solvency certification for the customs brokers and a lower risk score in risk analysis systems when profiling. So there is a concept called profiling of the customs under the customs, there is a concept called profiling. So when the other customs agencies and the other countries and all are going to evaluate that to what extent the examinations or the scrutiny has to be done on your shipments or on your documentation. So the lower risk score will be given if you are going to be an AEO operator. And faster disbursal of the drawback amounts through process eased out wide circular 18 of 2017. So wherever that you are claiming the drawback benefits and all, so if you are an AEO operator, then your drawback claims are to be disbursed in a faster manner. And fast tracking of refunds and adjudications. So if you have got any kind of a refunds, even including GST refunds, mind you, even if you are having a GST refund also, even such refunds also are to be expedited if you are an AEO operator, and your adjudication processes are to be fast tracked, because SVB adjudications, see, when you are dealing with a related party, the related party special valuation branch will pick up all those cases, and they will be subjecting to a lot of scrutiny. So such cases will take a lot of time for inquiring into the details and coming out with their findings and all. But in the case of an AO operators, they have to be fast tracked. And self-certified copies of FTA, PTA, origin related or any other certificates required for clearance would be accepted, and recognition by the partner government agencies and other stakeholders as part of the AEU program is also provided under this. So these are very, very important aspects, because even SIAN norms also, self-declared SIAN norms are going to be accepted. This is a big issue as far as 100% EOU units are concerned, because this standard input output norms are required for any kind of finished goods, and in all such cases, this is going to be a very important certification which should be there for a person. Next slide, please. Yeah. So what is the eligibility criteria for being an authorized economic operator? So to start with, for the T1, that the criteria are very minimal. You should have handled at least 25 documents in the last financial year. It can be shipping bill or a bill of entry. Somebody is querying whether exports to Nepal are going to be considered. See, there is no discrimination. The minute you file a bill of entry or you file a shipping bill, that is considered as one document. So if you have filed 25 documents in the previous financial year, you are the person to go for the AEO certification. You should have undertaken customs related work. You should be part of the international supply chain, and AEO can only be given to a legal entity, not to a group entity. So you need to know what is the difference. See, AEO is given to a legal entity. So the legal entity will be given a AEO certification. But if there are several legal entities under one flagship company like Reliance, Reliance has got many legal entities under it. Petrochemicals is there. Lot many verticals are there in the Reliance business. Petrochemicals is there. Telecommunication is there. And they deal with entertainment. So in all such cases, that AEO certification has to be obtained per legal entity wise, not for the entire group as such. So an individual will not be given an AEO. It's only for the firm. So you need to be a IAC holder first. Have had business activity for the last 3 financial years. Can be waived in deserving cases. So what it means to say, at least that you should be there in the business for the last 3 years. It may not be the case that you are into the international trade in all the 3 years. Only in the last financial year, if you have dealt with the 25 documents of exports or imports, then you are entitled. But prior to that, you may be a domestic player. That's okay. And even this 3 financial years activity also has got a waiver, so that one can explore. And there are special circumstances which I will be touching upon. And MSME, there is no requirement of mandatory trade by value or volume to facilitate or support MSME. See, they never asked you that at least you should have done $1 million of business, or if, some amount of imports certain threshold limit of imports that you should have done. So there is no such threshold value for the imports or exports that you need to do. Only the criteria is you should have filed 25 documents. They said it can be bill of entries. You are a pure importer. You are not exporting anything. But then also you can be an AEO. That is what the whole idea. Next slide, please. So important thing also, you please note that predominant service exporters are not covered in the AEO scheme because they will not be filing any bill of entries or shipping bills. So this is meant for pure play manufacturers and traders also, because they deal with tangible goods. So for them, it is applicable. So now comes the AEO Tier 1. What is this? So what are the benefits that you have? They shall be accorded a high level of facilitation in imports and exports of their consignments, thereby ensuring shorter cargo release time. Because if you are a Tier 1 operator, your imports or exports are going to be given priority. Facility of direct port delivery of their import containers, direct port entry of their export containers would be available to them. However, this facility will be dependent on the volume of their import-export trade in terms of number of containers. So, depending on the number of containers and the port you are operating from, the DPD or the DPE facility also will be extended to you. ID cards to be granted to authorized personnel for hassle-free entry into the custom houses, CFS and ICDs. See, not anybody can just walk into the custom houses because there the cargo will be placed. They will be under open examinations, and officers will be there. Sensitive documents are all over the place. Hence, not everybody can just barge into the custom houses. So, in all such cases, you need to have some kind of a permission to enter these premises. So, being a Tier 1 holder, your persons will be issued with ID cards so that your persons can have easy access into the customs ports. And wherever feasible, they will get separate space earmarked for the custodian's premises. See, all the customs ports are managed by the custodians. So the custodian will be the owner of the entire area. So he will allocate places depending on some commercials that they will work out with the big time importers and exporters. But being a AEO Tier 1 holder, that you will also get some space earmarked in the custodian's premises. So when your cargo arrives, either an import or an export, that you need not worry whether you will get a place or not, because the place will be earmarked for you in the custodian's premises. But for that you need to approach with your Tier 1 certification to the custodian and get a place earmarked for you. So it all depends on the subject to the availability of the place and all, that they will be given priority. And in case they have to furnish a bank guarantee, the quantum of the bank guarantee would be 50% of that required to be furnished by an ordinary importer or exporter who is not a AEO certificate holder. However, this exemption from the bank guarantee would not be applicable in cases where the competent authority orders furnishing of the bank guarantee for provisional release of seized goods. So, if there is any goods which are seized and you are seeking a provisional release, then provisional release bank guarantee, it requires to be executed. So this bank guarantee waiver of 50% is not applicable in all such cases, but in all other cases, that if the other person executes 100 rupees of bank guarantee, then for a AEO Tier 1 holder, 50 rupees will be sufficient. So these are the benefits for Tier 1 holders. There are some more. Next slide, please. Yeah. So investigations, if any, in respect of the customs, central excise, service tax, of course, GST, I missed it, but GST also would be completed as far as possible in 6 to 9 months, because that it should be fast tracked. That is what I told you. And dispute resolution at the level of educating authorities in respect of all these taxes would be done preferably and as far as possible within 6 months. They will not be subjected to the regular transactional post clearance audit. Instead of on-site PCA will be conducted once in 2 years only. those who are familiar with the customs work and all, there is a concept called post-clearance audit. So in the customs, normally what happens that all the documents you will be filing prior only, and after that the documents will be evaluated, and depending on the risk parameters and all, you will be accorded a green channel facility wherein no examinations will be conducted and your goods will be released. So in such a cases that there is a concept called post-clearance audit. So after clearance of the consignments, that the people from the customs audit department will come and then they will examine all your documents in detail. So this is called the PCA. So for a T1 holder, the PCA will be once in 2 years only. So it cannot be as per the whims and fancies of the officers that they can conduct it only once in 2 years because we are a tier 1 holder. They will get an email regarding arrival departure of the vessel carrying their consignments. So you will get prior intimation that when your shipment is going to come, or the ship in which that you want to export your exported goods is going to arrive at the port. All such kind of an information will be shared with you. 24/7 clearances on request at all seaports and airports. There will be no merchant overtime charges you need to pay. So these are the benefits just for being tier 1. So what is your basic requirement? Just you should have handled 25 documents in the previous financial year and are there in the business for the past 3 years. With these two simple criteria, you will become AEO tier 1. So I don't think that there is really anything that is holding you back to go for this kind of a certification. So we expect that more and more people understand the benefits of this and go for this certification. That is the whole objective of this session today. The next slide, please. There's the next level, tier 2. This has got much wider benefits. So in addition to all the benefits a tier 1 holder has, you are going to have some more benefits. So the other more benefits are they shall be accorded a higher level of facilitation when compared to the T1. And for importers and exporters not opting for DPD or DPE, seal verification, scrutiny of documents by the customs officers would be waived. So the customs officer is not going to hold your shipment to verify the seal or to scrutiny your documents. Consignments will be given out of charge or let export order as the case may be without any scrutiny by the officers. Because once you are a tier 2 holder means that your documentation standards are such that you can be trusted on by just a word of mouth. By taking your name and AEO tier 2, they will believe in your documentation and in your processes. That is the reason that they have waived the verifications at their end. The container selected for scanning will be scanned on priority by giving front line of treatment. So if there are any containers selected for any kind of a physical examination, then you will be given out of turn importance. Facility of deferred payment of duties will be provided from a date to be notified. Deferred duty payment facility means that in a month when you are importing and exporting the goods, that from 1st to 15th, whatever the import duties you have to pay, you need not run around the bank for each and every bill of entry. So you can simply file the bill of entry, get the goods cleared without payment of a tax because you are a tier 2 operator, and from 1st to 15th, all the imports in one single shot, you can make the payment on 16th. Similarly, from 16th to 30th or 28th, 29th or 30th or 31st, as the month ends, for all those imports that you can make the payment immediately on the next first of the next month. So if 15 days deferment of import duty payment is some very good benefit that the department is considering to provide for the tier 2 operators from a date to be notified. Faster disbursal of the amount within 72 hours of ECM submission from a date to be notified. So the drawback processing also is going to happen within 3 days. 72 hours of ECM submission means in 3 days you will get your drawback claims settled. The bill of entries and shipping bill selected for assessment or examination will be processed on priority by the customs officers. facility of self-sealing of export goods would be allowed without the requirement to seek case-to-case basis permission from the authorities. So it is going to be self-sealing, is going to be a blanket permission which will be accorded for a tier 2 operators. So you need not run around and take a case-to-case basis approvals and all that. So such is going to be the facilitation levels. Some more are in the next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah, faster completion of the SVB proceedings in case of related party imports and monitoring of such cases for time-bound disposal in terms of the new guidelines. So I told you, when you are dealing with the related parties, the special valuation branch of the customs is going to pick up those cases for a detailed examination because the assessable value, the transaction value declared by you might have got vitiated because of your relation with the other companies. So in all such cases, the investigations will take number of days. But you being a AEO operator, they will be fast track and they will be completed in a very shorter period. In case they are required to furnish a bank guarantee, 25% amount is required. See, for a tier 1, it is 50%, but for tier 2, it is 25%. And they will be given the facility to paste MRP stickers in their premises. This is another big kind of a facility, I would say, because those who are dealing with the products which are to be affixed with an MRP before they are sold in India, because that they are governed by the Legal Metrology Act, packaged commodity rules, all that, where that MRP sticker is a legal requirement to be there on all the products. So when you are importing the goods from the other country may not be knowing your MRP requirements and all that. So they will be sending the goods to you. So once the goods arrive in the port without the MRP sticker, they cannot be cleared from the port. So for all others, what they need to do, that they have to take permission and deploy their people to fix the MRP stickers on each and every product. Say, for example, that you have got a shipload of LED bulbs. Imagine how many bulbs can come in a shipload. There will be lakhs of bulbs can be imported in a shipload. So if somebody has to deploy their people to affix on each and every bulb the MRP sticker, imagine how many working days that it requires. So for all those days, when your ship cargo is there in the port, then you will be charged demurrages. So this is going to be a huge loss when you want to make really the sale and make some profit out of these products. No, these kind of additional expenditure, if you incur, then it is going to create a lot of operational issues. Moreover, then there can be some kind of mishap, accidents, and all that. So claiming again insurance is becoming a big problem. So to avoid all such things, if you are a AEO tier 2 operator, then you can get the goods cleared from the customs, move it to your premises, and then you can affix the MRP sticker on them. So the government is reposing such kind of a trust on you because you are at a higher level in the AEO tier 2, wherein that you have proved to the government that your standard of work and your ethics are at a higher pedestal, and your intentions need not be doubted by the authorities. So that is the level of reliance the government is placing on you for being AEO tier 2. And they will not be subjected to the regular transactional PCA. So the on-site PCA will be conducted once in 3 years. So for the tier 1, it is going to be once in 2 years. But for a tier 2, it is going to be once in 3 years. So these are the various benefits that you can aim at for AEO tier 2 facility. I think Vishal, who is there in the session today, that he must be enjoying all these benefits in his day-to-day life. So we'll hear from him, Mr. Vishal, in the end of the session.
Totally, sir.
Next slide, please.
Yeah. So I just want to launch a quick poll before
Please,
we
go
go to the
ahead.
next slide. Since you had mentioned benefits of being an authorized economic operator in tier 1, I'll just launch a poll that should be relevant to that. So audience, now I'm launching a poll on chat. So I would request all of you to look at your chat quickly. I am pasting a LinkedIn online live poll link. Request all of you to click on that, and this will redirect you to our LinkedIn company page. We have a live poll running right now. I request all of you to take about 10-15 seconds to answer that and come back. I will just read out the question for all of you anyway. So the question on our LinkedIn profile is, in your opinion, what are the primary benefits of being an authorized economic operator? So it could be multiple options, but unfortunately, LinkedIn does not let us do that. You'll have to select one. So I'll just read the options as well. Expedited customs clearance, enhanced supply chain security, or is it enhanced credibility, or if there's anything else, please mention in chat. Request all of you to enter your poll and then come back to the screen so that we can get going with the slides. Audience, I'd also like to mention you can also follow our page. We do keep putting up GST-based blogs. We also share video webinars, webinar snippets, and other GST updates on a regular basis. So if you'd like to follow us, we'll be more than happy. Okay, not bad. I think the votes are increasing there. So those of you who are still voting there, you can please vote and come back. We will go to the next slide. Yeah, sir, over to you. I've changed the slide also. Yeah. Kailash sir, I think you're on mute.
Yeah. Thanks to that. I was on mute when
Okay.
the poll is happening.
Okay.
Yeah, and to continue with some of the other important benefits for the AEO Tier 2 operators, they will be given access to their consolidated import-export data through IceGate from a date that would be communicated separately. So this is one other big facility for you, even while facing the GST audits also. This is one important benefit that you are going to have, that a certified import-export data belonging to you will be available to you from the IceGate. So when you are availing any kind of an input credit which is being debated or disputed by the GST audits and all, then this is going to be the document on which that you can say that yes, I have made the payment, I've got the goods and I've got it cleared after payment of the due duty, since I am eligible for the credit. So this is one other important thing, and they will be provided the facility of submitting paperless declarations with no supporting documents in the physical form. So your transactions are going to be accepted in digital form, no physical paper filing and all that, because the industries and the ports are nowadays at a far off places. So it is not possible for your people to travel every time and seek their time and then submit the documents and get the acknowledgement. In all such cases, the digital submission of the documents is going to facilitate a lot. All custom houses will appoint a client relationship manager at the level of deputy or assistant commissioner as a single point of interaction with them. This is one other important benefit for you, that you will get a CRM. And that CRM would act as a voice of the AEO within the customs in relation to your legitimate concerns and issues of AEO, and would assist in getting the procedural and operational issues resolved by coordinating with different sections within the customs as well as other stakeholders. So in customs, if you have got any kind of an issue, then currently what happens, that you will be running from pillar to post to get that sorted out. Even with the files also, you can see in the custom house, it is just like a fish market, that people will be moving around frantically with the papers in their hands, waiting for the officers and the things like that. So if you are a AEO Tier 2 holder, your CRM will take care of all that, because it is going to be a single point of contact for you, and you need not run from one location to the other to get your work done. The refunds, rebates of the customs and GST will be granted within 45 days of submission of the complete documents. So this is another thing, that faster disbursal of your GST refunds is also going to be promised under this, and they will get a trade facilitation by a foreign customs administration with whom India enters into a mutual recognition agreement or arrangement. So in all such cases, even in the other countries also, your exported goods, or if you are importing any goods, in all such cases, that you will be getting a trade facilitation. These are the other benefits of being a Tier 2. Next slide, please. We will be moving to the Tier 3 benefits also. See, In the tier 3, as I told you, in tier 2, whatever the additional things I told, they are in addition to whatever the tier 1 person is getting. Now in tier 3, whatever tier 1 is getting, additional benefits under tier 2 also will be available. In addition, that over and above, you are going to have all these further additions also. They shall be accorded the highest level of facilitation as compared to the tier 2. Their containers will not be selected for scanning except on the basis of specific intelligence. So, your containers will never be subjected to any examination unless there is a very specific intelligence that there is some concealment, some fraud is happening, and there is a concrete evidence, and this evidence has been taken up to the level of a joint or additional commissioner, and then he got convinced by the documents that are available at the time to order for scanning of your documents. Being a AEO tier 3, they cannot suspect your actions. So in case that there is a specific intelligence, only in such cases they will be selected, but they will be given the topmost priority for scanning and other things. The assessment and examination by the customs officers will rely on the self-certified copies of the documents submitted by them without insisting upon the original documents. In many cases, it so happens that they will insist that a letter from your supplier or a letter from your customer in original. So, if you are a tier 3 operator, then there will be no insistence on the original documents. You can move away with the self-certified documents. See, this is all the more is going to be an important thing for you, because sometimes it so happens that you may not be having a certificate of origin in order to claim some FTA benefit. So, in all such cases, your Xerox copy or the email copy of the certificate of origin also will be accepted in case you are a tier 3 operator. And as far as bank guarantees are concerned, you need not be required to furnish any bank guarantee. This exemption from bank guarantee again is subject to that condition that a provisional release of seized goods, it is not applicable. And an approach based on risk-based interventions in case of requirements originating from the acts administered by the other governmental agencies and departments will be adopted for providing better facilitation in imports and exports of their shipments. On request, they will be provided on-site inspection or examination, and refund rebate will be granted within 30 days. For a tier 2, it is 45, but tier 3, it is just 30 days. Next slide, please. So these are the benefits for being a tier 3. I am not touching upon what are the benefits for being a AEO, LO, because I don't think that there are any customs brokers in our session today. That is the reason deliberately that I have omitted the topic. So if there are any, then I can discuss that, not a problem. But now I'm touching upon this one other important concept of mutual recognition agreements. So what happens in international trade? That India will be negotiating certain facilities with other countries so that the importers or exporters in the respective countries will be able to take such an advantage. So this is going to be a government to government negotiation under which they will enter into this mutual recognition arrangement or an agreement, because of under which that certain benefits will be accorded. So all such benefits can be taken advantage if you are a tier 2 or a tier 3 holder. For tier 1, MRAs are not applicable, only for tier 2 and tier 3. As I told you that there is a concept called risk profiling. So if you are a tier 2 or a tier 3, you will be given a lower risk rating. So both customs and AEO companies are considered trusted members of the trade community of whose security standards have been validated by either of the partner customs administrations. Therefore, AEO exporters and importers are given a reduction in their risk score by the partner customs administrations, which will translate into fewer examinations at the port of importation. This is a big benefit. Risk assessment too. The status of the MRA partners AEO programs participant is recognized by each other is used as a risk assessment factor. And less redundancy or duplication of efforts. Traders do not have to go through two or more separate validation visits. Initial validation conducted by the local customs administration as being certified under respective AEO program would be recognized by the other MRA partner countries. See, I will tell you in a layman's language, if you see, then the bill of entry filed in India, the shipping bill filed in India will be recognized as a bill of entry in the receiving country. Similarly, the bill of entry filed in those respective supplier countries will be recognized as a shipping bill filed on your behalf in India. So the level of facilitation comes to such a stage wherein that the duplication of efforts is also going to be avoided as we progress. So next slide, please. See, some of the other benefits are common standard and trade facilitation under MRA. It is based on having equally stringent minimum security criteria. One country's AEO essentially complies with the security criteria of those countries with which it has achieved an MRA with. Common standards among programs will also aid companies in conducting and documenting their security self-assessments. And closer collaboration among and between the customs administration and the AEO program participants will lead to more transparency in international commerce. Information exchange between these partners expedites and facilitates the movement of commerce across nations. And Indian customs has signed MRA already with South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, USA customs to enable trade to get the benefits on reciprocal basis. And joint agreements were signed with Uganda, United Arab Emirates, Australia, South Africa, and East African Community. And negotiations are already there with Turkey, Japan, Singapore, Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, European Union, Russia, Qatar, and Bahrain. So this is where we are as far as MRAs are concerned. So if these negotiations conclude and they'll get converted into MRAs, then I think that more trade facilitations are going to be opening up. Next slide, please. So what are the compliance requirements? It's good that now we recognize that AEO certification is something that we need to have. But after being in AEO, is there any regular compliances that we need to undertake, like filing of returns or giving this data to somebody like that? Because that is also one of the important factors that we need to examine. So you should maintain records which permit customs to conduct any required audit of cargo movement relating to both import and export, and give customs full access to the necessary records, have internal records access and control systems, appropriately maintain and make available to customs any authorizations, powers of attorney, and license relevant to the importation or exportation of merchandise, properly achieve records for later production to customs. For instance, for customs purpose, the records should be maintained at least for 5 years. Employ adequate information technology security measures which will protect against access by unauthorized persons. So, these are the compliance requirements that one must have for being and for continuing as an AEO. Next slide, please. So what are the security requirements that I'm just reiterating, because this point I have already touched upon in my earlier slide, that you need to have procedural security, cargo security, conveyance security, premises security, personal security, trading partner security, security training and threat awareness, and IT security. These are very important for any business. But for being an AEO, these you need to have a demonstrable evidence of the level of securities that you are providing in your organization. Depending on that, your AEO tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 will be decided. Next slide, please. So some of the points that you need to keep it in mind. Once you are a AEO status holder, you must notify the AEO cell or the CRM of the jurisdictional chief commissioner in the following cases: when there is a change in its legal entity, when there is a change in the business name or address, when there is a change in the nature of business, that is from manufacturer, exporter to something else, change in your accounting and the computer systems, changes in the senior personnel responsible for the customs matters, because they will be the authorized signatories on a day-to-day basis. And if there are any additions and deletions of locations or branches involved in the international supply chain, all such changes need to be brought to the notice of your relevant CRM within 14 days of such change. So this is one important thing that we need to keep it in mind. Next slide, please. See, these are these important circulars one must keep track of, because these circulars, once you go through comprehensively, will give you a full idea of how to be a AEO and at what level and at what point of a time that you can upgrade yourself and how to maintain your status. All that information is readily available. So this set of circulars will give you the complete history of whatever is my presentation today. I have not got anything on my own. This is all a summation of all these circulars information only. I am just putting it across to you in a nutshell. That's it. The next slide, please. See, currently we are having 3,594 T1. As on 1st of October 23, these statistics are available in the CBIC website only. So 1,049 T2s, 124 T3s, and 1,037 LOs. In total, we are having only 5,847 participants in this AEO program. So my objective is, after going through this session, if any of you are inclined to take up this AEO certification, then the entire object of presenting this in today's session is going to be achieved, because more and more people are adhering to the standards. Then in international trade parlance, the prestige of the status of India is going to get enhanced. So one must go for these standardizations and certifications in their day-to-day business. Then it will help you in achieving and setting the higher benchmarks for yourself, and in going and achieving for it. So that is the whole idea of covering this session. Not taking up a GST matter, but why it is relevant to the GST, because your bank guarantees, there is going to be some discounting, and then your all refunds are going to be expedited is the important takeaway that you need to keep it in mind. And going in for this kind of a measure will help you in streamlining your affairs, either it be your accounting or the way that you will maintain your correspondence and the various kind of securities which are going to help you in your GST compliances also. So that is the reason we thought that it is not remotely connected, but having a direct nexus with your GST operations. Hence, we thought that we should impress on you, because most of you, I think, are eligible for the T1 and then also for T2 also. So if there are any kind of questions from your end, that I'll be happy to take up all of them, because that I think that I have come to end of my session. So now the floor is open for a Q&A. So please post all your questions in the Q&A box, or those who want to directly chat with me, that they can raise their hands, so that can enable you to unmute yourself and to directly ask the question to me.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. So, audience, we can have any kind of queries there is. It can be related to AEO itself, or if you have any other direct tax matters that you would like to address, the floor is
So
open
there
to
is a
all.
query in the Q&A, whether an
Yeah.
individual can apply for the AEO accreditation, or is it for the organizations. I've already answered during my session that it is for the IEC holder. So it is for a legal entity. So if an individual, for whatever may be the reasons, that if he is into the international trade and all and has taken an IEC, then certainly it is applicable for them. Otherwise, that it is normally applicable only for the legal entity. And the sessions PPT will be shared by Siddharth, because somebody had asked for it.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
that is that will be taken care.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I don't think that I'm having anything open-ended here.
Yeah. Audience, anyone who'd like to directly interact with Mr. Akela, you just have to raise your hand with the raise feature, or
And
Just drop a
certainly, I
line.
want to hear from Mr. Vishal Patel that what is his experience of being in AUO T2.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think Mr. Vishal can, but in the meantime, there's a question from Mr. Pratik, sir, if you noticed.
Yeah, that I've already answered in the session that yes, it is
Okay.
applicable for the trader. Your eligibility criteria is 25 documents filed by you. So being a trader, if you have filed 25 documents, you are good to go. Is Mr. Vishal there in the session?
So Vishal, let's just check.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's there. He's there.
So can you share your experiences, sir?
Yeah, Mr. Vishal, would you like to unmute and talk? I think I'll be able to. Uh, yeah, just a minute. Okay. Yeah. Okay, he's unmuted, but we can't hear him, I think.
I don't think that
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
talking.
must be a mic. I'm not sure if it's a mic issue. Mr. Vishal, you have unmuted, but we cannot hear you. That's the thing.
Right. Sir. Any other persons having any kind of a questions on today's session? Kamal is interested in knowing the correct answer for the LinkedIn query.
Okay.
Sir, in these professional sessions, there's nothing called the correct
Correct
answer.
answer. That's true. That's true.
See, it is all in your opinion. That is the reason Siddharth has rightly, very aptly had started the question itself. In your opinion, what are the primary benefits? So he also mentioned that in LinkedIn that you do not have an option to select too many when multiple answers are also shooting the question. So that is the reason that most appropriate whatever you feel that you can. But the primary benefit of being an AU operator is expedited customs clearances, somebody may be feeling it. Enhanced supply chain security, somebody will feel. Enhanced credibility is somebody feels. Others, there are many. So there's no single answer for it.
Correct. So, Mr. Kamal, I think all of them can be selected as options. But as I
Yes.
mentioned, right, I think as of now, what I see, expedited customs clearance is what has the highest answer rate over here, followed by enhanced supply chain security. Okay. There's a question from Mr. Kiran. Can tire holder be expedited for GST refunds? Tire
Yes, I told you that. Unfortunately, that in one of the slides, the GST word is missing. But yes, you are eligible for expedited clearances. Your refunds will have to be processed. So that is the reason. One other important thing that I just wanted to bring it to your notice, like the way that you put your name on all the stationery that you prepare, like your letterhead or anywhere, that you can now say that provided that you have got a accreditation in the AUO, then you can boast yourself that you are a AUO T1 holder, AUO T2 holder. Like that, you can write it under the name of your organization, so that it will be very prominent. And whenever you are giving any kind of a letters to the department, then certainly you can mention very proudly that we, so-and-so company, the AUO Tier 2 holders. The minute you write that, no, the attention will be different from the officers. Because once you are having this accreditation means that you should not be treated just like any other person. You are special, privileged. So that is the reason you can always boast your accreditation with the authorities in all your correspondence, and preferably if it is possible, then you can incorporate it in your stationery itself. It is such a kind of a certification that we are discussing today. Any other questions from your other participants? Maybe because the topic is new that you may be, but certainly this is a very, very simple certification. Entire process is online, that you go through the circulars that I have given it, that it is readily available, that you need not take the help of anybody. But if anybody wants any kind of a help, they can always reach out to me, that we will be able to guide you. Who opted for mover scheme, can they obtain AUO? Sir, there's no strings attached. If you have filed 25 documents in the customs, either bill of entry or shipping bill, you may be a mover, you may be an STPI, you may be a EOU, or you may be a EHTP, SEZ, a simple trader, or a DTA. You are eligible for EEO. You are eligible for EEO. That is the reason I'm telling. It is really wondering that why we have got such small numbers in India, that the number should swell into 5 or 6 digit preferably, because so many people are dealing in the international trade. So why we should not be going for standardization? Any other questions?
Audience, the floor is open for any kind of queries, as I mentioned earlier. If there's anyone who would like to interact with Mr. Akela directly,
Yeah,
you
not
can
exactly on this subject, sir. Anything
anything
to do
else.
with indirect taxes that
Yes.
I'm ready, that I will take that question.
Yeah, I think Mr. Vishal is actually trying to talk, but it looks like it's not
Oh,
happening.
unfortunate. Maybe he could have typed his views.
Yeah, yeah. Mr. Vishal, you can type as well. Looks like although you're not on mute, we're not able to hear you. Okay. Meantime, anyone else would like to ask any sort of queries?
Anything under the sky, sir, not a problem.
Yeah.
If you think that it is relevant for the public or at least makes sense, please. Otherwise, I think that enough that we have asked you to wait for it, but otherwise that we don't have anything more from our side to present to you or to share with you. Yeah, I think it is very good and enjoy so many benefits as well, and save valuable time and cost is a wonderful thing. This is precisely what I am looking at. That Vishal, being a tier 2 holder, is saying that his experience is very good and they are enjoying so many benefits, as well as they are able to save valuable time and cost for being AEO tier 2. That a lot of efforts must have gone into to get this accreditation, but once you got it, then yes, you will really enjoy the hard labor that has been put in by you. So it is really heartening to see Vishal's comments on this issue. Thank you, Mr. Vishal. I hope that soon you will be trying for tier 3 as and when that your eligibility comes in, because you should be a tier 2 holder at least for 3 years in order to go for tier 3. So from my end, I feel that today that I could introduce you to a new topic, though may not be directly relevant for the GST, but very much beneficial for the GST holders also, and those who are having a basic minimum of 25 international customs documents, if they have dealt with, to just inculcate the thinking in their minds to go in for this AEO certification. So that is what is our effort today in introducing this new concept to you. Thanks for your valuable time in listening to the whole thing. That this session PPT will be shared with you, and definitely that we are open for any kind of a questions even at a later point of a time. As I repeat, my request to you is that if you are interested in any topic, that you please let us know, so that in the coming sessions that we can certainly give importance to your views also, because all our objective is to reach out to you, to enlighten you more on that particular topics. And at the end of the session, whatever the topics that we are discussing here, that you should not be having any kind of a doubts in your mind when you are executing your works in your respective organizations. There should be a value add. To that extent only, our efforts are being tried. Thanks for your time and patience.
Thank you, audience, and thank you so much, Akela sir, for yet another informative session. As you mentioned, we will share the webinar presentation and your contact details. So post webinar, if there's anyone who would like to reach out to you, I think they'll be more than happy to reach out to you. So on that note, we will close the session. And thank you, audience, and those of you who've shown interest for the demo. Our team will reach out to you in the next 1 or 2 working days and arrange the demo at the earliest. Thank you all and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.